It started as a royal love story, an American actress and a British prince rewriting the monarchy's rules. But beneath the surface of that fairy tale was a secret the palace never wanted you to question: the truth about Archie. For years, Meghan and Harry insisted they were pushed out, mistreated, and that even their child wasn't spared from the coldness of the crown. But now, in a twist no one saw coming, palace insiders are whispering a different version. A version that paints Meghan and Harry not as victims, but as architects of a calculated media storm. According to leaked documents and unnamed staffers, key details about Archie's birth, his title, and even his appearance may have been embellished. Some go further, calling it a full-blown deception crafted to provoke public sympathy and fuel their exit. And if what's being claimed is even half true, the world may have been manipulated on a royal scale. But why now? Why would the palace risk exposing this after years of silence? The answer may have less to do with truth and more to do with revenge. And that's just the beginning. When Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born in May 2019, the world celebrated. Yet the palace's official records triggered more questions than answers. At first glance, the birth certificate seemed routine, but eagle-eyed reporters noticed something strange. Meghan's occupation was listed not as actress or even duchess, but simply as Princess of the United Kingdom. Then, without explanation, the document was amended weeks later. Why change it? Some speculated it was a clerical error. Others claimed it was Meghan's decision. But palace insiders say the order came from higher up, an attempt to reframe Meghan's image within the royal structure. According to them, Meghan and Harry wanted full control of the narrative surrounding their child, including how he was perceived by the public and the press. This wasn't just about titles, it was about optics. Every detail was curated, filtered, and approved before going public. And yet, behind closed doors, staffers allegedly felt uneasy. Was this standard royal procedure, or a manipulation of royal protocol for personal gain? And if that one document was altered for the press, what else might have been? From the moment Archie was born, the world waited for a glimpse of the newest royal. But unlike previous royal births, there was no grand hospital photo op on the steps of the Lindo wing. No smiling wave from the new parents. Instead, Meghan and Harry chose to reveal Archie days later, privately, quietly, and far from tradition. But the secrecy didn't end there. The few images that were released sparked immediate speculation. Some claimed the baby looked different in each photo. Others pointed out inconsistencies in lighting, facial features, even the setting. Conspiracy theories exploded online, with some people going as far as to question whether the baby shown was even Archie at all. Ridiculous? Maybe. But behind palace doors, the confusion was real. Staff allegedly complained about being kept in the dark, even those traditionally involved in royal births and christenings. And then came the biggest shock: rumors that the palace itself was unsure of Archie's location at times during his early life. Theories swirled. Was Archie kept hidden for protection or for control of the narrative? And if the public was only shown what Meghan and Harry wanted them to see, was it ever the full truth? Because what came next turned speculation into scandal. It was the interview that stopped the world. Meghan, seated beside Harry, telling Oprah that there were concerns and conversations within the royal family about how dark Archie's skin might be. The shockwave was instant. Headlines screamed racism, royalists denied, and the world chose sides. But behind the scenes, palace officials were scrambling, not just to control the damage, but to clarify what they claim really happened. According to new leaks, that explosive conversation may not have unfolded the way Meghan described. Sources close to the palace allege that a passing remark, taken out of context, was weaponized into a global scandal. One insider claims it was never a concern, but rather a casual comment twisted into something far more sinister. Still unacceptable? Maybe, but according to them, it wasn't the malicious, race-driven fear the public was led to believe. And here's the kicker. Some former royal staffers now claim Meghan and Harry used that moment as the cornerstone of their exit strategy. A single sentence, amplified to ignite a media firestorm, shift public sympathy, and justify cutting ties with the monarchy. But was it strategy, truth, or both? Either way, the damage was done, and the royal family wasn't going to stay silent much longer. One of the loudest claims Meghan made in the Oprah interview was that the royal family refused to give Archie a title, and that it was somehow linked to concerns about his skin color. But now, palace insiders and royal experts are pushing back, saying that simply isn't true. According to the centuries-old rules established by King George V in 1917, only the grandchildren of the monarch automatically received the title of prince or princess, not great-grandchildren. That meant Archie, being Queen Elizabeth's great-grandchild at the time, didn't qualify yet. The only exceptions to this rule were made by the Queen herself, for Prince William's children. Why? Because William is the heir. But here's where things get even murkier. Insiders now say that Meghan and Harry knew this rule from the beginning, and were even offered an earl title for Archie, which they declined. Why? Because according to reports, Meghan wanted her son to either be a prince or nothing at all, refusing the lesser title to make a point. And when the public didn't understand the royal protocols, Meghan allegedly let them believe Archie was denied a title out of prejudice. A calculated move? Some within the palace think so, because as long as the truth stayed buried under tradition and technicalities, the sympathy stayed right where it was needed, on Meghan and Harry. Another royal tradition quietly sidestepped: Archie's christening. Historically, royal christenings are public events, carefully photographed, meticulously documented, and attended by prominent family members. But when it came time for Archie's big day, Meghan and Harry chose something radically different: a private ceremony, a secret guest list, and no media presence. At first, the press called it a modern choice, but palace insiders now say the decision raised red flags. Staff members were reportedly instructed not to speak of the event, and several senior royals were left completely out of the loop. Even the official photo, released days later, featured just a carefully curated circle, no candid shots, no spontaneous family interactions. And what truly stirred suspicion was the absence of key royals. Prince William and Kate were missing, so was the Queen. Publicly, scheduling conflicts were blamed. Privately, sources claim it was deliberate distancing. Some now speculate that the couple used the christening to further isolate themselves, controlling not just the press, but the family itself. But what were they protecting? Archie or the narrative? Because each quiet omission, each broken tradition, fed a growing theory. This wasn't just about privacy, this was about rewriting the rules on Meghan and Harry's terms. As time went on, something unusual kept happening. Archie was missing. Major public appearances came and went: jubilees, tours, charity events, and yet the royal toddler was nowhere to be seen. Meghan and Harry often spoke about him in interviews, painted vivid pictures of his personality, even referenced his favorite books or milestones. But when it came to actually showing him, there was radio silence. Fans were patient at first, assuming the couple was being protective, but royal watchers began to notice a pattern: staged photos, carefully edited clips, and stock footage. No spontaneous moments, no blurry paparazzi captures. Nothing that felt real. Then came the rumors. Was Archie even living in the UK full-time? Some tabloids claimed he was being raised in Canada for stretches. Others suggested he was kept far from royal grounds altogether. Former palace staffers now allege they rarely saw Archie during official events, and that most of the royal household knew shockingly little about his whereabouts or caretakers. And that raised the biggest question yet. Had Meghan and Harry deliberately used Archie as a ghost in their royal narrative? A symbol more than a presence, mentioned just enough to evoke emotion, but hidden enough to avoid scrutiny? The silence around Archie's early years wasn't just curious, it was strategic, and it left a vacuum, one the palace is finally starting to fill. For years, the royal family followed their golden rule: never complain, never explain. But lately, that silence has begun to crack. Leaks from trusted palace sources are surfacing in high-profile outlets, contradicting Meghan and Harry's claims point by point. And these aren't random tabloid rumors. They're structured, deliberate, and deeply specific. One report detailed how Meghan allegedly refused traditional royal medical staff during her pregnancy. Another claimed Harry had been warned repeatedly about the consequences of walking away, but chose to ignore every single warning. Even more damning, insiders now allege that Meghan and Harry kept certain royal family members completely in the dark about Archie's early life, not out of fear, but control. None of these leaks have official signatures, but the pattern is clear. The palace is no longer playing defense. According to royal commentators, This is the crown's version of warfare, using silence as a shield until the moment it's weaponized. And now that public opinion is shifting, the palace is slowly, methodically pulling back the curtain, exposing contradictions without ever naming names. But this quiet counterattack raises a bigger question. Are these leaks meant to protect the monarchy, or to destroy Meghan and Harry's version of events? One thing is certain. What started as a royal rift has turned into a full-blown information war. In the beginning, Meghan and Harry had the world on their side. They were the underdogs, the outsiders who dared to challenge the monarchy. Their interviews went viral, their documentaries topped charts, and their every word felt like a strike against an outdated institution. But now, the tide is turning. Public sympathy is fading, not because people suddenly support the monarchy, but because the story feels repetitive. The same claims, the same grievances, the same vague allegations, told again and again. And yet, when asked for proof, Meghan and Harry rarely deliver anything concrete. No names, no full transcripts, no verifiable records. Even some of their most loyal supporters are starting to question the timeline, the motives, and the consistency. Why keep referencing the trauma if they want to move on? Why claim to want privacy, only to sign multi-million-dollar media deals detailing their private lives? According to critics, this isn't about healing. It's about image and control. And while Meghan and Harry may still have their defenders, the growing chorus of doubt is louder than ever. Because when every bombshell starts to sound like the last, even the most dramatic story begins to lose its power. But there's one final piece to this saga. And it's the one no one expected. Now, as the dust settles and both sides continue their quiet war, a chilling question lingers beneath it all. Was Archie ever just a child in this story, or was he always part of the strategy? From the moment Meghan and Harry stepped back from royal duties, Archie's name was woven into every justification. The desire to protect him, the fear for his safety, the pain he might face growing up different within the royal institution. And yet, the deeper we dive, the more it seems like Archie was carefully used, not in malice, but in manipulation. He became the emotional shield, the symbol of injustice, the justification for every decision that followed. And as more palace sources step forward and timelines start to crack, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. The narrative surrounding Archie wasn't just personal, it was political, strategic, and, if these revelations are accurate, possibly built on selective truth. Because when a child's identity is wrapped in secrecy, contradictions, and controversy, the public stops asking what's best for him and starts wondering what's really being hidden. And maybe that's exactly how both sides wanted it.